Hi Daniel, it's been a week since the last lesson, and we talked about vibrato and then the more upstream question of how I hold my violin to give the left hand a less crucial role in supporting the instrument, because I think I was kind of at the 50-50 point. I supported the violin with my left hand like 50%, and that seemed like way too much, particularly for vibrato, and also other kinds of like shifting and ways of getting around the fingerboard with the left hand. So I thought I'd show you what I did with your suggestions and what I discovered, and also what questions I still have. So I think some kind of review would be very beneficial for me. So first of all, your main point was to bring the violin closer up to the neck, and so that I don't have to do something like this, catching it with my chin, but more like having it here, so that the weight of the head basically can hold the violin up. And the very physically appropriate and helpful tip you gave me was to move the shoulder rest further up in this direction, so that if I have the shoulder rest in the same position on my shoulder as I had before, then there will be a longer part of the violin extending this way, so that the violin will come up basically closer to my neck without me changing the position of where my body touches, or how my body touches the shoulder rest. So that also is like helpful in kind of adjusting the tilt of the violin, because then, or also just to keep the violin in balance, because then I have like a much longer lever, like from here to here, in which I can do that. So I think before I've basically used this as my lever. That's much shorter and also like more in the same direction, so it was not as effective. So that was very helpful. And then I had the question of, well, if I bring up the violin like this closer to the neck, there are still like many options how to position it. And I remembered something that I've heard somewhere else, from someone else, to kind of calibrate where the violin needs to go by taking it up like this, and then bringing it up, keeping that position, and that would then kind of automatically ensure that I can reach the G string and even the higher positions on the G string with the position that I achieve. And that was also really helpful. I also, well, coming back to those other questions, like if I put the violin like here and keeping the jaw in the jaw rest and it being it close up, then I can determine where the shoulder rest is actually is on my body. And it turns out that there was a little bit of a gap, and I kind of am closing that right now. I mean, I put this piece of cloth on there, and it's strange that the way it's helping me like positioned like that. I first started like positioning it right on top of the shoulder rest, and that didn't seem to work so well, so I don't know why that is, but it's helpful. And then for now I have this like big piece lapel of my jacket that also gives me a little bit like here, so that's actually then a pretty secure position to hold the violin. There's still maybe a little bit of a question of the strings being parallel to the ground, but also that is kind of good. So then several things changed, which I'm very happy about. First of all, I can now play this scale in all positions across all the strings without my hand doing some kind of crazy contortions. Also to support like with these parts of the hand is much easier, so I don't have to kind of have my thumb creep up and rest the violin here, which I did before for some kind of positions or in vibrato moves, and also to initiate the vibrato. From the lower arm it's also like possible, so it it moves. And also I think the vibrato actually improves the sound, which it didn't before, so that's all good. I also noticed that my arm is like more vertical under the violin, so it used to be more like this, so this is like a much better angle. And yeah, one other thing that I took notice of is what Pinkas Zuckerman was talking about with this extra little cushion that he has, that there would be like some in the shoulder, on the shoulder, some kind of valley where it goes, and I think I found where this valley is on my body. It's like further out than I thought it would be, so that's just the way my body works. And that also the way I'm putting the violin up now is, it's like the shoulder rest is in this valley. And also the thing that I was concerned about, that I was kind of trying to balance on this little knot here, this where the collarbone meets like the sternum, that I'm kind of, like you suggested, that I'm kind of bypassing that. So now the violin is just, I don't know, not in danger of trying to balance on that pointy thing, right? Okay, so that's all very good, I think, and I'm quite happy with these discoveries. Then there's the question of the bow, and that's where I have questions, because I don't know. I mean, now the bow has to adjust, or the bow arm has to adjust to be a little bit further back, because my sounding points are now closer to my face, and I think in the beginning that gave me real troubles, because I was kind of fighting to keep the sounding point, and then that gave this kind of scrapey bass noise in my sound. So let me just play some open strings. Like A would normally be my strongest string, so let's start with that. So So I think I'm going straight. I mean, I've spent hours in front of the mirror, but let's see if I can show it here. Yeah, but there's still a little bit of a tendency that I have to kind of fight for it to stay there, and I think that gives this little, I don't know, bass noise of scraping, which I also used to have if I was like changing sounding points too rapidly, then I have the same kind of scrapey noise, so that reminds me of that. So I've been trying to kind of think more like I put the bow in the right direction and then I just let it. Yeah, so that was better, but maybe, I don't know, maybe my right shoulder is now kind of too tense, or I'm lifting, I don't know, something doesn't feel quite right. So I wonder if that is something that is like, I should again modify my violin hold, or if that is something that I can work out with my bow arm. So the other observation is that now it's harder for me to change bows at the frog, or to go to the frog, and much easier even on the lower strings to go to the tip. So actually I feel quite good now with the sound and the movement on all strings besides the A. The A is kind of feeling like a little bit more cramped. And then, okay, same issue on all strings still, that the string changes are quite rough. Maybe I'm kidding myself, but I thought they were better before. So anyway, so that's with the bow, and then with the vibrato. I think I mean, I tried to learn the wrist vibrato for a long time now, and if I demonstrate what I achieved on a single note, like, which was not bad, but also not quite as good. So if I do that, get the movement going from the arm, and then see if the finger is loose, I get this. So I think that's promising. It's certainly not the end of the story, I hope. I still need to kind of find a way that this joint, the first joint, or the whole finger is really more relaxed, and also to find a way that the other fingers are loose. And I don't know, I think I'm doing like more exercises away from the violin to find that, and also, I mean, I don't have someone to twiddle my other fingers while I play, but I can kind of let those also be more relaxed. So I think that's, like I said, it's set up for success, let's say it like this. But like I said, I'm a little bit worried about the bow, so if you could just, I don't know, tell me what you see or what you notice, and suggest changes, or just encourage me to continue working towards a more relaxed bow arm. Yeah, that's it. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.